Committee, it's Thursday, March 19th at 5 o'clock in the Skaket Room. I'm going to call the meeting to order and wondered if there was any public comment, if anybody had anything they wanted to say or talk about. Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to a motion to approve the minutes from February 19th, 2026. I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Okay, in a second.
Second.
Okay, any edits or changes to the minutes? No? Okay, seeing we've got nobody online, we can just do a voice, just do a hand vote. All those in favor of the minutes signify by saying aye. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that was the tough stuff. Let's get into the easy stuff now.
Okay. So, as you can see, registration for the last month since we last met, we had 160 registrations, took in $4,020. I think it is very helpful. I know Tracy requested it a few months ago to look at the numbers from 25 compared to the overall numbers during the current season. So, March pickleball, because of the weather, you can see that there's been a drop, but we're starting to pick up for April and May. And then a couple of things I wanted to note was we had so much interest with our pickleball clinic last spring. We ended up doing an advanced one and a beginner one. And even in the beginner one, we only had 10 last year. We have 16 now. And then moving on to, ironically, Early Bird Fitness in March. So pickleball in March, we have less numbers, but for Early Bird Fitness, we actually had 4 more registrations than we did the year prior. And then I don't even want to account for April and May yet because those people register, as you know, like right when it starts. So that's good. We have a new ecological gardening program, guided hike. We're adding field hockey this year, an herbology class this year, and then instructional baseball and softball. We're right on par with the same numbers that we were last year. We have 19 now. 20 from last year. We actually have more registrations for softball this year, just one, but we think we're probably going to get another 2 or 3 girls to register for that. And same thing for our spring soccer clinic. We cap at 30. Last year we were able to take 1 additional child. We might be able to accommodate that this year, not sure. And then winter yoga. We had 25 last year. We have 32 now. We probably could have taken 45 people. We just don't have the space. We don't have a room big enough. So I think that's awesome, and it's just been going so well there. And then youth pickleball, we're right on par with what our numbers would be. And basketball season ended. Thank you to all our coaches, all the volunteers, all the parents. Great season. Overall, no complaints. And we actually have a meeting next week with the rest of the teams on the Lower Cape to talk about it. But there were no issues that were brought up throughout the season, so that's a huge plus. I'm very happy about that. I'll skip the Eldridge Park renovation because I know that's a separate thing on the agenda. But I wanted to note that our 3rd bowling night happened on March 11th. We had 19 registered. Overall, we had 61 registrations throughout the 3 months that we did it. So it was just one night each of those months. Everybody absolutely loved it. We had a mix of new people. We had a mix of people that decided to go to all 3. Really enjoyed it. Great time. So we're really happy that we're able to do that. And we're gonna have that again next year. Just wanted to note again, Easter egg hunt is not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 28th. It's at 11 a.m. Last few years we did it at 1, but it was right in the middle of the day, so we want to do it in the morning. I did mention last month, we worked with the Chamber of Commerce this year. They have their bunny breakfast that same day. The bunny's gonna come in on the boat from to the yacht club. They're gonna do the breakfast. It ends at like 10:30. They're going to have the police drive the bunny over to Seacall Farms, and we're going to have the egg hunt right there. And then after that, there is I don't know if you have to pay or not, but there's going to be open skate at
Charles Moore.
Yeah, with the bunny. So
Just one person who's going to be the bunny from
yeah, hey,
8 a.m.
Maybe-
to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Maybe the bunny can drive the Zamboni too.
yeah.
At least get around.
So, but yes, overall, very, very good. We're really happy that we're able to work with other organizations and things like that. And one thing to note too is with all those adult programs like the herbology and things like that, we've done a program at Town Cove. We're trying to work with the library on something. We actually are going to be doing one of the seminars at Sunbird. They're going to open up late. So we're trying just to every once in a while highlight a different local business. So it's working out really, really
It's
well.
great.
That's great, you're going to
Yeah.
Sunbury, that's nice.
Yeah, and we're open to all different businesses and organizations, and what's nice is now they're reaching out to us,
Yeah.
so it's really nice. For summer, I'll talk about budget numbers later because that was also a separate agenda item. We received 12 applications so far. 5 are for our playground program. 4 are for our leader in training program, and 3 are for swim. What's really good is, depending on if we hire all of them, we'll be solidified. So those interviews start next week, and we're pretty much throughout the whole week, all 12 of them. But it's really nice. We had 5 people that are not returning from our playground program, so it's really nice. Hopefully we can take all of them. We only need 2 people for our swim, so it's going to be a tough call, and I never like doing that, but with the budget we have to. And our leader in training program, last year we had 2 girls that did it, and they were so good, and it's so nice that now this summer they'll be hired and paid staff. So that's really nice. So that's the hope for the next 3 people that applied for that. Summer
So Tom, can I just ask,
Yeah.
is 12 the number that you hire for the summer?
total?
Yeah.
No, we're upwards of like 31.
31,
Yeah.
so the 12 are the applications that you've gotten so far.
12 are the applications of new people that have applied. Out of the 31, 26 are coming. Out of the 31 from last year, 26 are coming back.
Wow, that's great.
No.
So you only have 5 spaces for those 12 people?
For the playground program. But then we also employ for swim, and then we also employ for the Just Try It, which is the middle school program.
But is that all in the 31, the number, the
Yeah,
31 number?
yeah. Sorry, so 5 people are not returning from our playground program. 2 people are not returning from our swim. We're going to try to get all 5 of those people, or out of the 12, there's 5 people that are applying for the playground program. We're going to try to get all 5 in so that would solidify our numbers. We also want to hire 1 additional person for the Just Try It program, preferably a female, because we would like to have a good mix of males and females at both programs. And then there's 3 people that applied for the swim program. We only need to hire 2. Then there were 3 applications for the leader in training. They'll be with the younger children in the playground program.
But all these different sort of categories are all
Equate
folded
to
into the
31.
31?
Yes, correct, sorry. So with the summer dates, originally the summer camps were supposed to start on June 29th with orientation the 23rd and 24th, or the 24th and 25th. Fortunately, because of the winter storm and them missing all that time, the schools at Nauset at least are going to end on the 29th. There's a chance that they apply for that waiver and receive it, and they'd be able to end on the 26th, which is the Friday before. Regardless of any of that, whatever ends up happening, we can't have our orientation on those days. So we're going to try to do a virtual orientation at night on one of those days somewhere in the mix. We have to figure that out. The hope is, if they do end on the 26th, which is the Friday before, we are going to start our programs that Monday, and we're going to ask everyone to come in on the Saturday for a few hours because we need to be able to bring everything in and kind of do our on-site orientation. We have always 2 days of orientation. One's in our classroom, and we go over rules and expectations. The other one is on-site, going over what we're actually doing with the children. So that's if it ends on the 26th. If it ends on the 29th, we'll have to skip a day, and Yvonne and I will be staying late on the 29th trying to get everything into the schools ready to go, and then starting on, it would be the 30th, which is the Tuesday. Our plan still is to have registration start on March 23rd, which is this Monday, and we're just going to hope for the best. And that's really all that we can do. We don't want to delay any more with registration because a lot of the towns already started their registration and they're already full or are taking more people, and we don't want to lose anybody from our program.
If you do start a day later,
We'll prorate.
will you?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that complex for you and?
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, so I did the math before, and we would be charging, if everyone did all 6 weeks, it would be $190 for residents, $350 for non-residents. The 190 comes out to 30 full days, and that's $6.11 per day, or $6 and like 80 something cents. So whatever it is, per day. That's pretty good. And so all we'd have to do is go onto the account and apply a credit for $6 for those people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And camp runs on the 3rd, that Friday.
Yes, it does. There are no days off this year.
Okay.
So,
I know my wife with the post office was like, "But 4th is on a Saturday."
I know. Yeah.
Tough one.
I appreciate your flexibility with that.
We have to do what we have to do, right? These are unforeseen circumstances, and I'm sure a lot of the teachers don't want to be in the classroom that last week, but so we're working on it. But so that's pretty much it for my report. And then I don't know if you want to talk about.
Can I ask you a couple
Yeah,
questions?
Go for it.
So the 3 events that I just saw the mailer on that are free, what were you thinking in terms of those being free versus not charging a fee?
So the reason why those are free is because we don't have to pay anything for those programs.
Okay,
So it could be a partnership with, one of them is like with the Conservation Trust, and they're actually going to pay for the person.
Right.
Another one is someone's donating their time because they want to be able to get their name out there.
Okay.
And things like that, so.
okay, so that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
The second question is, Hot Shots got canceled for basketball. I understand why, because of the weather and everything going on, and it was a difficult time. Can you possibly consider the idea of a tournament similar to what was done for soccer before? Because that seemed to be really popular.
Are you talking about for this year? or-
No,
Yeah.
next year. Like
So-
ways out, start at least that conversation with
Yeah,
your colleagues.
that'll be a topic of conversation, because really the main reason wasn't with all the makeups, it was we didn't have enough children interested in participating. We needed to have numbers.
With the Hot Shots or with the tournament? Because with the Hot Shots, it's just to show up.
Yeah, the hot shots, but
Yeah.
it was, we needed people to pre-register through us.
Oh, you did? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
But even if we accounted for us, because we knew our people would show up, for instance, Brewster, Harwich, Chatham,
Oh, okay.
everybody was kind of just in influx. So obviously the weather had a lot to do with it, but we just didn't have the numbers, and then knowing we had to get pizza, and then every town would bring their own staff, it was a lot to manage.
And that was definitely a different event too, like.
Yeah, but I think maybe a tournament might be a better option, but
Yeah, it's-
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's just something to think about. I mean, I think that basketball is really popular right now. There's good 3, 4, good 5, 6 teams. Um, It did well hosting that under the lights
For soccer, yeah.
for soccer. Yeah. That's it
Okay.
for me. Anybody have any other questions for Tom before he moves off of his report?
I've been wanting to ask this a few times. The column that you have in this,
Yeah.
on the left, what is that?
So this column is the registrations that we took in for these dates. This equals that. That's the overall total number of the program, the entirety of it.
From what date?
That's for all, these
Is
are.
it the winter programs?
Yeah, so these are all our current programs. That's the total number. This is what was taken in for the month, and that's the numbers from last year so that you can
Okay.
compare.
But, so this isn't year-to-date, it's just winter season?
But it is year-to-date, because these are all the programs that we have going on currently.
Right. But the year starts July 1st, right?
Well, so it goes by season. It goes by
Okay, by
season.
seasons,
Yeah. So there's, as you can see, like there's winter yoga we took in one
Yeah.
registration. But this would be primarily the spring season.
Okay, thank you.
Tom's moving fast. No other questions? I guess you can move on to the budget stuff.
Okay.
So Tom's gonna put things up on the screen. If you don't wanna be blind with the slide.
So I tried to make it as simple as possible so that you all can see. If this ever.
Sorry. As long as my hair isn't
You want me to turn off one of the lights?
Yeah, and it's just heating up, so it's gonna take a second. All right, so what I did was I downloaded it from the system, just so it's a little bit easier for everyone to read and see and understand. This column here is the actuals from FY '23, the actuals from FY '24, actuals from FY '25. So think FY '25 was last year's budget. FY '26 is right now this year's budget. So I don't want anyone to be alarmed saying, how is this less? It's because we're still in this cycle. So this is the budget right now. This is what we requested, and this is what we're working with for this year.
That should say FY '27, right?
No, because this is the current budget, FY '26.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha, yeah.
So I'm gonna delete this, I just wanted you guys to see that. FY '26. This is what we asked for FY '27. Salaries are included in this, that comes to three employees plus benefits. The reason why this is a higher number than what most would think is because, or a bigger jump, is because most recently after the Maytown meeting last year, they restructured the contracts, so everything is included into this. So that number. We have a 3% increase from our non-union others. That comes with our 2 part-time employees. That comes with all of those 31 different people that we hire throughout the year. And yeah, so pretty much think seasonal and part-time. And so this is just a 3% increase. Then over here, we don't have longevity. None of us have been around here long enough. Clerical and technical, that's in case we need to pay for overtime or anything like that. Kim wanted to keep that in there, so but it didn't change from the year prior. Over here is uniforms, keeping everything the same. Maintenance contract, we're keeping everything the same from last year. Other professional and technical services, so that goes with any type of referees, anything that is like professional, could be vendors, like for our spring soccer clinic, that's what that goes under. Telecommunications, that's just our phones and different lines like that for
Does that
Verizon.
5,000 include the software?
So that would be under, it would, depending on how much is left in the budget, because they always send it to us in June, it would either go under maintenance contracts or other professional technical services, yes.
Okay.
And then telecommunications, I said. I don't know why, but every year they have like $250 of postage. I haven't used it, so I requested to take it out, so we saved another $250 there. Skateboard operations, that's our portion that we pay for the skate park. Office supplies, same amount that it's been since last year, $5,100. That includes everything from paper, printing, the toner. The toner itself is like $700 every 3 months. Water for the office, and then different supplies in general. $25,000 for program supplies. That's really where our bulk of whatever we're buying for the programs comes out of that budget. Short life equipment, you can think of AEDs, you can think of, so the maintenance of those batteries are very expensive, buying them in general. Anything that can only be lasted a year. So sometimes if it's tennis rackets, if it's, sometimes like we'll use it for, I'm trying to think of a really good example, like dodgeballs, because we know every year they get so ruined, and it's just, I think, short life equipment, so that's what we do. Travel reimbursement, we're gonna look at this going into next fiscal year, because there's a possibility of us getting a vehicle for the town, for the department. So if that does happen, we won't need to be reimbursed for travel, obviously. And then dues in attending different meetings, things like that. We have, so I'm a member of the National Parks and Recreation Association, the Massachusetts one. I just redid my pool operator's license, and I renewed for one of my memberships. So that all comes out of there. And then Yvonne and Jamie are also members of the MRPA, which is the Massachusetts Parks and Rec. So that's just dues and attending. But I wanted everyone to see that this is what we're currently working with, and this was the ask from this for next year going into it. Really, the largest change is this 20,000, well, just under 20,000. And then this 4,000 here, and that's what gets you that difference.
How did you do this year on your budget? Did anything on your current year budget end up costing a lot more?
I can pull that up. So, if you look under program supplies, we went a little bit over so far. Good thing is we're still operating, so I can do this. So as you can see, based off of how much we have left, and how much we spent, we're still in a really good mark. So what we're able to do is we have the flexibility towards, I think it comes out in May, we have the ability to request for line items to be shifted. And with that, we can maneuver, let's just say, if I have $2,000 in a different line item, I can request to have it changed to cover the program supplies. This year, specifically, we paid for the buoys that are on the town green. That was requested through the town manager's office. So we helped pay a portion of that, so that's why it's at the 27,000 and not at the 25.
Oh, okay. That's what pushed it up.
Yeah.
It'll
mean,
be
there's-
nice. Oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna say, I can see that there's a pretty big difference with the office supplies and the short life equipment. I can't imagine that you're gonna double those spending amounts between now and the end of the fiscal year.
Let me-
1908 and 5400.
So I can tell you, I can tell you, with the office supplies, we will be. We'll be right at that cusp, but short life equipment, no.
I think it's always good to see how much you're spending relative to the program supplies, balls, gear, equipment, turning that over.
Yeah. And, we try to buy that we know will last, but it's inevitable when you're working with children.
Oh,
Things
God.
don't last.
Everything gets a pulpy now,
Yeah.
and nothing is, like, just take soccer balls, they're just not made as well as they used to be made.
And it's unfortunate. So I try my best to make sure that we're not overspending. But at the end of the day, prices are going up,
Yeah.
and they continue to. But we manage. We do well.
The uniforms number, is that for your staff or is that for the kids' t-shirts?
That's for everybody.
Okay.
As you can see,
Big
we're not
difference,
there yet because we didn't make our summer order. If I showed you this in 2 months, we'd probably be closer to 5,000 or so.
No, so I'm just looking historically, the year before, 1375, and then the year before that,
Yeah.
70.
So I can't explain. I don't believe the FY25 is right. These are numbers that we pulled from the new system OpenGov.
Yep.
And the town shifted from a system called Munis to OpenGov. And for some reason, some of the shifts that got through to that from there don't fully translate. I can tell you we definitely spent more than $1,300 on uniforms.
Can I, back to the holiday decorations, how
Mhm.
much did you spend on those and what category did it come from?
It came from program supplies.
Okay, and do you know what, about,
Our portion was 12,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why are they still up?
Well,
They're coming down.
well, it's because DPW has to take them down, and they've been
Yeah.
so busy.
But-
Tree removals
Come
and
on.
cleanup.
I know that a
We're
lot-
going back to beginning of January.
Well, you or
here.
I could go out there, see what we can do.
I mean, the snowflakes came down, and those at least last the whole winter season.
So in DPW's defense, it's been a crazy few weeks.
Yeah.
The idea was to take them down mid to late February, but
But $12,000, that's a lot
well, that's, and
coming out of the rec budget.
I mean, I had questions about those, and I said, I can't imagine it came from, I thought maybe it was like a cultural district donation or something, because I could.
the cultural council
No
donated.
one's gonna ask me about anything ever again, because it was like, it makes no sense for those to have come from rec. And I'm not faulting, but I'm surprised that,
The idea did not
I'm
come from
surprised
Rec.
that the connection to program supplies.
Yeah, I know that.
Diplomatic.
I know that there was a lot of different quote-unquote hands in the pot, and the big thing was they wanted to make sure that it was from a local artist. And if you look close enough, I think it represents a lot with the fishnet and actually getting the debris from the ocean and being able to repurpose everything. And then they were able to get different lights from different areas to use as an
They
ecological
repurposed all of
display.
it. Why did it cost $12,000?
I can just say that, that's what I was requested to do, so.
Yeah.
But I think-
I'm
it
not
also- It also
faulting you.
speaks to your greatly expanded program,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's, it's events, and that's a new thing, and there's sometimes hiccups relative to what's gonna get paid for where. But seeing that come out of the money that many of us would like seeing
Yeah.
focused on things like new goals and.
Yeah.
I think moving forward, that's been explained, and it won't be coming out of this budget anymore.
If I could just jump in too, I think this was an unbudgeted, unplanned expense. So when the decision was made to do it, it was more about of going back into various departments and seeing who had money that could be tapped, rather than logically saying this belongs to recreation.
No. It won't be housed in our building. But yes, yeah.
Yeah, we could
That's
have
all I
put
can
$12,000 towards your offices over, you know,
Yeah.
small towns.
Could I just ask you, Tom,
Yeah.
what's the budgeted revenue?
Revenue that we take in from the revolving account?
Yeah, well, from people paying,
Yeah. I think you guys are gonna be pleasantly surprised with how much money we have in there.
And also, I'm wondering, while you're pulling this up, how much of that money stays in the account versus
So-
being pulled back into the general?
Revolving account always stays. The only thing that, so when I first started, the only thing that we requested was the way the revolving account was set up, and I don't know the exact name of each account, but the way that this revolving account was set up was you can only spend a certain amount and only a certain amount rolled over.
Right.
When I started and I sat down with Kim and Mark, we changed it, and it actually got voted on at town meeting, that everything rolls over, but we have a cap of how much we can spend. Right now, as of fall town meeting of a year and a half ago, we're able to spend $100,000 per year. We don't spend that. That's almost like, let's take care of everything that we can through our budget, and then what else can we pay? So like, for instance, with our other professionals, that comes with our, I mentioned our referees and things like that. We're at that capacity now, so that's when we'll start taking out a revolving account. So we're able to spend 100,000. I can tell you we don't spend that much. But a lot of the times when we're towards the end of the year and the budget didn't start, the budget didn't roll over and we're able to spend that money, it's nice to have the revolving account so that we can buy things for the kids for all our summer programs. But I will pull that up. Just so you can see, these are all the different things I manage.
So can't some of that money go towards when we're bringing vendors in, so that the price of a vendor isn't as expensive to the family?
Yeah, it could. That would be a conversation for you guys to
Because I think
kind
that's
of
what we
direct
were
and dictate.
thinking when originally the
Yeah.
revolving fund came into place, was that it
Yeah.
would cover those kinds of costs.
So do you do that now, or no?
So we try to keep, so for instance, as an example, tennis, we still keep at $30 or $35.
Mhm.
And I mean, they charge us $60 per child. So the only ones that actually pay that amount are the out-of-town residents. So like, that's something that we do offset already. But like, for instance,
But,
let's,
excuse me, but that comes out of your program, not out of the revolving fund. The offset for.
no,
tennis.
no. So that specific, like for instance, that would come out of the revolving account.
Okay.
Yeah. But as an example, we have the soccer clinic. If they're working with us and they're saying at the end of this spring soccer clinic, it comes out to like $3,000 for the children. We obviously, I can't say take half out of here, take a quarter out of this. We'll just take it out of the revolving account. So and you'll be able to see like what is spent. So this is the revolving account. And prior to me being here, and I always say that because I don't want to, you guys think I did this. When you see negative number, it means it's positive. When you see a positive number, that means that's what was taken out. Okay. So let me.
Oh my God, flashbacks.
All right. So balance forward means what we transferred from last fiscal year. So we had $160,903.98. Okay. In here, minus. Remember, minus means positive. So this is, so any of our all of our registration, no matter what, goes into here. That's the only way that we can take in money. So you could see from all the different things. And then obviously, sometimes you'll see a positive number, like when we have to refund somebody.
So just to, can we start one more time? So
Yeah.
you started by carrying 160,000,
Correct.
okay? And there's no, that money is rolling over, and
Yeah.
essentially, that's your,
Off the top of my head, though, I can't tell you how much was in the account prior to me being here. Like, I could find that number out if you'd like. But let's just say it could be like 70,000, or maybe it was 50,000. But so it's not like we had $0 when Tom DeServo started and then we have 160. That's not the case. But so you could see specifically for the programs, like we earmark it in our MyRec page so that when people register for a specific program, it goes into like this bucket. So let's just say it's pickleball, right? At the end of each month, I have to give the treasurer a report of all of the money that we take in, and I subdivide it, so that would go into, as an example, adult programs. When we take on registrations for summer camp, obviously, summer programs, swim lessons, right? And you can see, like, why are these numbers here now? That's because sometimes after the fiscal year, people still register for some things. Then you'll see youth clinic, youth basketball, youth sports. So this is, sometimes that would be, it's not soccer, like that would be like our field hockey program would come out of youth, would go into youth sports. Now, that's all that we take in. There's only two ways that it can come out. Purchase of services, right here, or supplies. Credit card fees, some towns take on the registration fee or the credit card fee. Other towns make the consumer take on that fee. We take on that fee. It's not much.
So you can't pull money out of there for programming?
You can.
So like the
Okay.
Beastum, right?
Yeah.
2-week sports camp in August. That could technically come out, did it? Let's see, 4, 5.
Yes, so it did.
no.
Yes. So
Okay.
as an example, yes, that
Yes.
did come out. Wait, I'll go back one page. So you'll be able to see, like, for instance, Neil Nichols, he ran our geography show. We paid for that. Riley Donahue, so for like town meeting, like certain things, like when we need people to do childcare for town meeting, that's not specifically budgeted,
Right.
and so that'll come out of that. And then you can see some people there. Sandbar management, this was like our water park. We paid for the field trip out of there. Jennifer Norton, our yoga program, to keep yoga costs lower for our residents, those types of, so it's all very similar. And then, so that's services, obviously pretty much self-explanatory, any service. And then supplies, you can see all the different things, well, not much. So supplies, you'll see this was me when I bought stuff for the employees for the party at the end of the year. And then Papagino's for Yvonne when he wanted to buy the same thing. And then for the paint program at Town Cove, $280 from the residents paid us. And then now, taking on the registration, so remember, we had 160 in there.
Mhm.
And this year so far, we paid $26,000. So we have 174 in there now. If I'm being completely honest with you, and you see these numbers each month, we don't take on a lot of registration numbers. The big bulk is going to be
Summer.
starting Monday. So that's where we really take in all of that money.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of, throughout the year, where you want that revolving fund to be? In terms of anticipating expenses, or,
So-
like, is this too much, too little? Just
No. I want to be clear. Anything that's in the positive is good. My goal is to always try to use up the money that we have in the expenses,
Yeah.
right? The expense budget before going to this. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't have a general number in mind, because the whole point of this is, other towns keep their prices pretty good, but we keep low pricing. So I do know at some point we want to keep pricing the same, but prices are going to go up. So I think having a nice nest egg here, because at some point we're going to have to offset a lot of the costs
Yeah.
for things. But yeah, so I don't have a straight
Yeah,
answer.
no, that's all
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
I'm just curious.
But this is good to have because, I mean, we can use this towards things, right? When I was in Elmwood Park, my first ever job, full-time in recreation, when I left, I had nothing to do with this, but when I left there was $2 million in the revolving account, and they were able to put $1 million into a turf field and only have to use X dollars into something. So the goal isn't to say, hey, we have this, let's spend it now. It's let's use it for that rainy day when we do need it.
I was gonna ask if it could be used for capital ever.
It can be used for anything recreation related.
Okay.
Because you have to remember, the money source is coming from programming, so it has to be utilized for programming.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Tom, back to my question, it was more looking at total expenses of 516, 314 in the budget for next year.
Yeah.
How much of that do you expect through the budget to be covered by user fees?
It's not supposed to, though.
Well, but you're collecting user fees, I don't think I'm not saying it's supposed to, I'm just, what does it turn out to be?
All the user fees go into this,
Going
right?
to
Yes.
revolving account.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're,
So it's,
when I was hired, it was never the expectation that fees would cover any of
Oh,
the
I
expenses.
totally
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with that.
So to answer your question, if you're asking how much do we think we can look now and say, if we took in, if it was $169,000 in there and we had 200,000 in here, that's $31,000. So I think by the time summer camp registration's in there, we probably get roughly $50,000 to $60,000
Okay.
per year.
And so, and the reason I'm asking is just, there are other programs in town that are supported by a combination of user fees and general tax,
Yeah.
general fund revenues. And some of them, I'm thinking of the transfer station as
Yeah.
the obvious one, have a target. It isn't a hard and fast target, but
No.
roughly, I think it's expected that 63% of the expenses will be covered by user fees.
Yeah.
And the rest, the town would cover. It would seem to me like having some sort of a target like that would be useful.
If it's
For
directed,
what
if it's
reason?
directed by the select board and the town
No,
manager's office,
I'm-
I'm comfortable with giving a number, but like I said, the expectation was never to do that, so I don't.
But it's a good sort of answer. I'm thinking about the finance committee, to be able to say, in general, the recreation department's expenses are covered by, 30% of the recreation department's expenses are covered by user fees.
Yeah.
I think being able to explain that is useful.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea, but where I went with that is recreation, the more people we have in there, the more it's gonna cost, and that's a good thing.
Yep.
It's not like we're trying to keep the costs down, we're trying to get more people in, which is gonna cost more.
No, and I'm not trying to change this
Right, no.
discussion
Okay.
about whether we should be,
Okay, yeah,
getting more
okay.
user fees or not.
Okay.
But in general, I think that's a way of giving people a picture of how,
No.
of how this program is funded. And I think that is positive to be able to do that.
so I just went to register my boys for basketball this week for a Monday through Friday program, and it's $400
No, not-
essentially for the week.
Not through us.
And it's, that's, camp, 1 week of camp runs from $300 to $700. I mean, camp is very expensive.
Well, I mean, I can just, as a basic example, because I was in front of the finance committee last year talking about the budget. As an example, if we're requesting $136,000 or $135,000 for our seasonal and part-time employees, and we're only taking in 50 to 55,000, I mean, you could just do the math and say, possibly what is that, 33% of what we make?
Yeah, and because I think I maybe got off on the wrong foot on this conversation.
Yeah, no.
I'm not trying to lead this to, either raising fees or doing anything. It's just a sort of a financial picture of the program.
Yeah.
And seeing how much is self-supporting and how much is being subsidized by the town.
Yeah. I mean, I can certainly do that if that's what's
Do
requested.
you
And
go
you-
before FinCom again? with this?
Not.
I'm not talking about this year, I'm just
Yeah.
talking about in general.
Yeah,
But I think that wording saying self-supporting is not accurate, because it sounds like you're using that revolving fund in lieu of the budget, and we're not.
Yeah, I think
It's
that
not-
the thing that I was looking for was not the revolving fund, but just in general, you've got a budget with $516,000 in expenses. You're probably gonna be able to estimate $50,000 of
Yeah.
user fees, and that's it. It has nothing to do with the revolving account.
But the user fees go into the revolving account, that's why I'm saying it makes it sound like that money is being used to offset the budget,
Yeah, I
and
get you.
it's not.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to give that impression to anybody, because all of a sudden they say, well, you said that, and it's
Right.
like, well, no, that isn't what's happening. The money is separate.
Yeah.
The budgeted amount is very separate from.
And using it and building it are both really good goals.
Right,
You know, moving
you're
ahead.
using it, yeah, towards things that have meaning, you know?
Yep.
I mean, it was always that, it was gonna grow programming.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of the fund from the get-go. It wasn't to subsidize the budget.
Yeah. Does anybody else have questions regarding the budget?
I think it looks really great.
We try our best, or at least I've tried my best over the last 3 years to cut what we can and only increase what's absolutely necessary. I mean, it's the name of the game, right?
And I think it's really important having the, you know, although this body isn't actively involved with the formation of your budget, I think it's really important to talk about it, that the public is getting exposure to it,
Yeah.
that anybody can see this meeting and see what's going on. Going through that process and shining light on stuff really helps, and it helps me understand things so that I don't have to ask really dumb questions.
Yeah. And nothing's ever dumb, because sometimes this stuff doesn't make sense. I get it. It's just a lot of numbers, especially when you're not familiar with the specific line items, because I can look at somebody else's budget and have no idea. But I know that it is the town's idea to be able to have everybody be able to go onto this OpenGov platform and be able to actually see like each department's budget and be as transparent as possible. I don't think it's ready yet, but
It's almost, it's close.
they're going to be rolling that out.
I think actually, it might be next week.
Yep. So, I don't think you're going to be able to see. I don't know. I don't know the breakdown. I'm not within those conversations. I'm not in that circle. But you'll be able to at least have general ideas of everything.
Any other questions before we go on to the?
I'm just wondering, you brought up the idea years ago of switching away from MyRec. Are we sticking with MyRec?
We are.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah. No. I just to be completely honest, the best characteristic you can have is familiarity, and right now everyone's used to it. Yvonne's done a great job interfacing it, making it a little bit easier to use, and everybody else on the Cape is using it. So it'd be tough for us to go away and have to teach everybody. I mean,
It
as
is
an
easier
example.
to use. I have noticed that.
Yeah, as an example, this is our public page now.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to even subcategorize, so as you scroll down, let me just agree here, you can scroll down and like we are taking on the Arts Week programming. It's free, but like we're putting the registration on there. So it's like when you scroll down, you're like, oh, okay, what's going on with Arts Week? And it shows you the 3 programs, you click right into it, gives you a breakdown, gives you the flyer, and then all you have to do is just log in to register.
That's so much better than it was.
Yeah, and then
It's just-
when we have summer camp, it's going to say summer programs right there. You'll click into right here, and then you'll be able to see what's exactly available. We have general info, so we direct people to go to our info. We have everything on here: our facility use permits, our employment application, leader and training application.
Hey, the rec advisory
I know.
committee's there. I like
Yeah, you
that.
guys are on there. All right, we got it.
Write a
We have an
letter
arts
to
and
the
culture
chair.
tab, so it'll direct you to the cultural district. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to use. But yeah, I mean that was my idea, was to switch over, but I quickly learned I was incorrect.
It's just wondering.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, I'll pop that closed. All right, Eldridge Park. So, as it stands with Eldridge Park, we awarded Weston and Sampson the bid. They're working with EDR for the stormwater aspect of it. And we awarded them the bid. Came out to 220,000 for the landscape architecture and civil engineering services, which include design, permitting, and overseeing construction. So it's a big catch-all, which is nice. So it's Weston and Sampson. Our timeline, as I've discussed previously, is mid to late May, early June, have plans. Go out to bid, late June, early July, award the bid, start construction, end of August, early September. The hope at that, this is, again, I always preface, this is ideal scenario. A lot of things can happen. The hope is if you do start construction, it ends by end of spring, mid to end of spring in 2027.
April, May.
Yeah. But if we have a winter like we did this year, that could delay it. As of right now, we have $3.8 million left. Figure two,
After the
No.
219 is subtracted
no,
out.
take the 219 out,
3.5 something.
roughly. That's what we have to work with. The overall project was at that 5.5, 5.8, I forget the exact number. In there was soft cost, but included in that was this chunk that we're talking about, the 220,000. So they had an internal meeting on Tuesday. I had a recap meeting with Reagan yesterday, just to go over the fact that they're in line, ready to go, to discuss what we're doing. Our conversation and what it was proposed at town meeting is adults. So what can we get for roughly 3.6 million? What can we get if we get another 500,000? What can we get if we get $1 million? Another 1.5. She wanted to make sure that our timeline was what we discussed and everything was copacetic. Next week, I'd like to have a meeting with Weston and Sampson and 2 representatives from the Rec Advisory Committee, similar to what happened to get us to this point. We'll hopefully have one meeting, discuss what their ideas of cutting things are, and what the adults would be. Have another meeting after that to see what that looks like. Hopefully go in front of the select board to be able to show, have an open meeting, whether it's with the select board or an open meeting in general to be able to get feedback. That's gonna be crucial for grant opportunities. And then hopefully go out to bid. But my request here tonight is for you all to vote on 2 members, preferably people that are familiar with this program and this project, to be able to sit in on those meetings and be the quote-unquote liaisons.
Can I ask, was just sort of is 219 what, when they originally gave us like the 5.5? Is 219 about?
Yeah,
what
that was
they
like
thought it would
incorporated in the
cost?
soft cost, yeah.
That was
That was
So
incorporated.
we're about on track,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
because it's always based on a percentage of the overall project.
Okay.
And Tom, what's the thinking on a CPC application?
An additional CPC application?
This fall, coming up in November.
I was instructed that we are not going to
Okay.
be going for that.
And so, the only outside funding that still might be out there would be the grant that you applied for.
So, the grant that I applied for, we were asked to send a letter of withdrawal because I mentioned at last meeting, the estimates are not what they like to see. They like to see actual numbers. And then the other thing was, even though we had an open CPC meeting and town meeting vote, that was not considered a specific meeting for this project where we asked for public input and advertised specifically just this as a standalone. So we did not get that. But there is a park grant, PARC grant, that opens up in May. And we will have, I have all of the information, I had everything that we needed to be able to present to them. So it should be pretty simple to be able to apply for that because we'll actually have actual numbers and we'll have had a meeting specifically for this project.
Is that awarded every year? Like, could you go back next year and get it at the tail end of the project?
So
We do
it is
some-
awarded every year. And it is considered a reimbursement grant, but I don't know if the project is over, if we can if we can apply for it, what's the word?
Retroactively.
Thank you.
I just
retroactive.
wonder if there's like an adult,
Yeah. There, I mean, so,
you know what I mean, that we could maybe apply to
Yeah.
cover the adult input.
well, that would be different, because I thought you were asked, so let's just say, let's just act like we have 3.8 million, and that's all we're doing. I can't apply next year to be able to get money back for that,
Right.
but that could go towards
But
the
if we
adult
find out
project.
there's like a swing set that we can't, right, that, or not that's gonna
Exactly.
be it, but we
Or
could
if
go
we
and
have to
say
quote
this
unquote
is
phase-
exactly
yeah.
what we wanna do, and it's going to cost
Yeah.
X.
And there could be other opportunities that open up, but last time I said that to you all, I think a year and a half ago, you laughed at me, and it's the
I
truth.
don't think-
No, you did, I remember.
Yeah, you
But-
clearly remember.
I remember, but you all were correct because we're losing more opportunities.
Sorry.
I was hopeful that there could be more grant opportunities, but it doesn't look like they're going to get rid of any of those.
Okay,
And I don't think there's going to be any new ones coming about.
yeah.
So could you potentially apply for the one that you had to withdraw for next year?
It would be the same concept as it would have to be a new project, which would be part of that adult. Yes.
So essentially, we're missing a window
Yeah.
for this.
It's just the way it fell. If we would have, let's just say, if this was Springtown meeting last year, we would have been on par.
When are you thinking about having the public meeting to get input before the design stuff is finished?
It would be when we're the hope is that it would be roughly when it's 75% ready,
So
where
maybe-
it's just a couple additions or subtractions, but asking for the input from the public.
Okay, so maybe April?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
something that this committee could host?
absolutely.
What do you think about the idea of doing a joint with the select board, or just
That
having
would be
us do-
efficient.
Yeah.
It would be, I mean,
It would be the draw.
yeah. The only thing I would say is that it probably would be good to somehow have the select board see that information before
Yeah.
Sure.
we have a public meeting.
And the
So,
public, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that, I mean, doing it together saves everybody time, but,
Things have to move very fast, though,
yeah.
in between now and the end of May.
But I think, so, that's why they wanted to have their internal meeting without any of us part of it, so that they can all be on the same page and make sure that they understood our expectations. So,
Who's they, by the way?
Weston and
Weston
Sampson.
Sims.
Yeah. So, like, they're prepared to work with this timeline.
Okay.
Again, like you said, it is tight, right? I think it would probably be a meeting next week, and then a meeting within a week and a half to 2 weeks after that, and then, like, hey, are we ready to go with this? And then be able to see when we can get on the select board's agenda, or have that joint meeting, whatever.
Or
I don't want to
even-
give
or
a
even
date
right-
yet.
Yeah, or even right now, start talking with Molly
Yeah.
about dates.
Yeah,
I think you could do it, I mean, you could meet the select board one week and have the public meeting a week later. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that would work.
Okay.
Do you think that's realistic in the lead up to town meeting to get,
Oh, is this supposed to happen before town meeting?
well,
it doesn't have to, no.
oh, okay.
No.
I thought we were
It
talking
doesn't?
April.
No, because you have to remember, we have the money.
No, I just
It's
meant
just the
the
input piece.
input piece. You didn't want that done
Oh, no.
April and May?
No,
Okay.
no. But what we want to do is, I mean, I guess you can use town meeting because it's the 11th. I think you can use that as good reference. We'd want to be able to get this by beginning of June, we'd like to have something ready to be able to put out for bid.
So probably in between town meeting and the beginning of June?
Yeah.
It would be the weeks
Yeah.
immediately.
But so it's not like we have to have
Yeah.
a meeting right before town meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much 100% that you're gonna be going after the park grant, or?
Yeah, and if anybody sends me an opportunity, we're going to apply.
How
I
about,
ju- I
how about the
can't.
tennis association? Is that also
So
something?
that has to be when we have hard numbers.
Okay.
the USTA is offering, but it would only be that portion. So what would be nice is when we get real design plans, like every time we've seen everything, we've just seen like a vector of what it could look like, and then rough ideas of like measurements, and then this is what the price could be. When we get these plans, we're gonna have everything. So we'll be able to go for that and say, look, specifically for the tennis, if, just throwing a number out there, if it's $100,000, we could be able to use it for the renovation of that, yeah.
Yep.
Is it, I'm sorry, are 2 courts, is that a big enough project for the UST? Someone told me they
Yeah.
have to be pretty big.
They don't, or they do?
They do, like.
No, I mean, I saw,
want
they
them.
sent out an email about a week ago, which we're not ready for. I mean, it could be anywhere between $5,000 to like $100,000,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Question, this has nothing to do with the Eldridge Park part of tennis. Are there any plans to rehab the courts over at the elementary school? Because they are
What happened to
dangerous.
it?
They have been all along. I mean, all those pictures that I sent
Well,
to
they got
Matt with the.
rehabbed.
They got,
They
They,
did?
they were
They got-
resurfaced
it was
Oh,
resurfaced.
okay,
and,
okay.
and repainted.
Ah, okay, okay.
Oh, you got me nervous, I was like, we just did
I know,
that.
that's what
We
I
did
know,
that
and
recently.
I'm just like, my
The
kids were
bigger
there last
question,
week.
I think,
Yeah.
that, it's not too late for you to weigh in on is how can those courts be more accessible to the public during school hours? And since there's a fire station that's gonna get built there, and there's gonna be all sorts of construction, there might be a way of
Creating a tunnel.
creating a fence or a separation that would satisfy the security issues, but
With the school, yeah.
it's worth having that discussion.
So I think it is worth having that discussion. It's hard because currently, obviously, there's 2 ways to get in, right? There is the parking lot through OES, but then there's also like that little service road through the fire department. But the moment they start construction, that's.
Well, I'm thinking about when the whole thing is done.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I
And I'm
mean,
not, yeah, I guess, right, those courts have always been an asset that is underutilized because,
I mean, there's a parking lot there, if somebody wants to play on those court, I mean. they
the
don't
school
use-
doesn't allow access.
Yeah.
Because you've got to go through the school parking lot to get to that little parking lot.
Same, so it'd be the same concept, like no one can really use that playground, which is a nice playground during
Yeah.
school hours
Right.
either. They put cones.
Right,
But-
yeah.
but,
I mean, that
the
makes
the
sense.
playground,
Makes
I can
sense.
see
No, I'm
that.
just saying you can't, I just meant you
Tennis court
can't
doesn't
access through.
make sense to me because it's
It's close to the
at
school.
it's close to the school, but it's at the front of the school and it has its own parking lot. So somebody just going through their driveway to park in that gravel parking lot by the tennis court, it's not like they're parking in school parking per se. I mean, it's tennis
But
court
I think it's
parking.
like a perimeter,
It
isn't
is.
there?
Is there?
I mean,
Like
it-
however many feet.
It's on
Because
school
it's the
property,
same
so,
thing.
and the school says they don't want to use it.
Actually, technically, that's town property.
Right.
Right, it's
But
town
I think
property,
you
but
have
it's
to be
overseen by the district.
a distance away from the building. Because
To
I
an
think
extent.
that's part of, like, in the big 6-phase thing, we put the
Mhm.
tennis courts right on Eldridge. And it would have still been on middle school, and I know it's town property, but the middle school committee members thought that that would be okay because at least it was physically
So far away.
Like, they don't want anyone near the building.
It's difficult. I mean, when one playground is being worked on, families will go off to the other town playgrounds. And unfortunately, except for weekends and after the school day, families will have to do that, and it'll probably end up being a similar situation for the tennis. I can't speak for what the school district's position is, but things have really changed in terms of security and having to have a really, really tight scenario.
But there were 2 tennis courts open to the public on the middle school property prior to the gardens being put in there. I mean, that's where they were.
Yeah.
And that location is great for the public because it's
far-
easy
far
and
away.
there's parking and it's,
Yeah.
it's definitely separate from the school.
Well, Tom, you could take that conversation on, but I have a
I
sense
think that's
what the
more of
answer
a
is.
rec advisory committee thing to do OES if
I
you
do
want.
too, actually.
I just, it feels like the little I've heard about the fire station, there are already concerns about the driveway.
Oh, yeah.
The school
And-
driveway, so the idea of asking for a third access point for tennis courts is maybe something for the chair to think about.
I think the expectation is
It's
that
not something I
driveway
like.
issue is gonna get resolved.
Yeah,
Uncertain at this point, but, you know, in the planning, finding a way to access, you know, those tennis courts not through school property,
right, maybe.
I think should be possible.
Do we
I don't-
have any sense, do we know for sure that the new fire station isn't going to take some of the tennis court area?
I can't answer that. I haven't seen any plans. No, I can't say for certain that that's true.
They're not moving it down to the property that was just purchased?
That's included, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're looking at another parcel. too.
But the other dentist office is, you know, the town is talking with them, because if the fire station stands the way it is now, the fire station and the school are gonna have to share that
That
driveway,
entranceway,
which
right.
nobody wants.
Right.
If we can get at least a portion of that other dentist's office, then we don't have to use the school driveway at all.
I mean, Chatham, they share the driveway with the elementary school.
And,
No,
you
we
know,
have
if
no
you go to the
issues.
cities, I mean, the elementary schools are right on the streets. I mean,
The
yeah,
kids
it's-
think it's cool,
Right.
I mean, it's.
Bringing us back around to the topic that Tom brought up a little earlier, two members of the Rec Advisory Committee are going to be participating with Tom and his crew and WS on this. Tracy and I have worked on this stuff in the past. It's up to, and I'll entertain any opinions in terms of what you'd like to do in this next step. I think it's just important to have that discussion. Anybody have any?
Do you both want to do, are you asking if you both
Uh,
do it again, or?
I'd be willing to step up and do it again for this next step.
I'm happy to do it again.
Thoughts?
I'm good.
Sounds
I'm with
good.
that.
We don't have to do a vote or anything, just to, nods or not.
If you're willing.
Yep. It's gonna be very active.
Too late now.
Yeah. This timeline is a exciting timeline. We see a lot of town projects that often get set back, but for us, starting construction in, by September really, really helps in coming up through the way we've talked about accessing things is just so important. The toughest thing, and I have to say this on the record, is that, we're clearly short of the money that I think that we're gonna need for this project. And so there are gonna be things that you hear about in the weeks to come that are being taken off the table, or as Kevin, the select board chair, has very nicely said, will become adult pieces. And so I think we're gonna have to continue talking about possibly tapping into things in the future. Are we gonna try and lean towards the idea of getting free cash? Are we gonna have another article at town meeting next year? What will we be thinking to try and finish the project? Because I think that leaving off some of the pieces, I think, are not gonna benefit the parties who are really thinking about benefiting, especially that half basketball court up by the middle school, which is a really important piece. And middle school has been a good partner, a recent partner for us on this, so. Anybody have anything else that they'd like to add about the project?
I'm
or
curious,
questions?
curious about where the contingency amount stands now, because the first time I saw this plan, it was pretty significant.
Yeah,
Much
was it
more than
20?
you would expect.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do that just so you have that number, but I mean, you have to take into consideration it will be reduced if we're reducing the total amount, right? They're going to be able to sharpen their pencils in general. And then I'm nervous to say it's going to be a certain number because as we see with what's going on in the world right now, specifically
Bids are coming
gas
high.
prices, things like that. One of the things they always say is when gas prices go up, so do groceries, because they have to get there. So we're in a really tough situation to be able to give exact numbers, but they're going to be able to sharpen their pencils and be able to tell us. And the hope is, if it is Tracy and Jamie, to be able to say, maybe even just in an email, like, hey, this is where we ended up after this meeting, and that way you don't have to wait till next month to hear about it.
Sure.
But yeah, so to answer your question, it won't be a 20% contingency. I mean, it could be closer to 15. You know?
Right,
Or-
well, 20% of 5 million brings us down to 4 million,
Yeah.
which is a
And-
lot closer to what we have.
And I don't wanna put any ideas in anybody's mind, but like, you know, certain things, do we need a certain sunshade right now? Could that be an add-on? We'd love to have the lights, so do we wanna put up the lights, or can we at least run the conduit below, and then could that be like, so there are
Sure.
options, for sure.
Because some things are definitely more expensive than others, and the fact that we're not building buildings is a really good thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, we are moving a lot of earth and putting in structures to handle groundwater, you know, and some of that stuff is quite expensive.
That's for sure.
Not as bad as electrical, though. I was really surprised about how expensive the electrical component is
Yeah.
of this project, you know. But fingers crossed when we get to the bidding stage and we get a contractor, that we get several bids and that we're able to see,
Well, that's the hope, right? Competitive bids.
yeah. Sounds good. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if there's no other questions or comments.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you so much.